the Northerners, and taking some sort of racial stereotype, they would be crucified as such, like as historical evidence of what the Romans allegedly told us, as if they were thinking about us, they were telling that to us specifically for us, right? And were explaining what the thing really was, and quoting, by the way, authors from the east of the empire in times that also do not quite apply to the, of course, or in sources and contexts that do not quite speak, of course, of the broader sense of who the Romans were. This is another thing that we didn't calculate. It's not that Malalas was thinking about the Romano-Italics specifically. Those people thought to be Romans themselves in 6th century Syria. So let's be honest here. There is none of the analysis and the criteria that we can have seriously discussing this topic. And of course, it's just a 20-minute video. What do you expect? This is the point I make to anyone. Do not think, even for an instant, that there are figures that can simply sell you history for 20 minutes. The Metatron can do this at his own responsibility, of course. He is very successful. I wish his channel just, what he deserves. But just be aware that the cheap way out from, now we will debunk immediately this thing, can be done even well. In this case, it was done terribly. And at least on my channel, I've made lots of videos explaining exactly what the ancient world thought of itself, which is something that I've never heard actually on any YouTube channel, and that actually easily tells us about, if anybody is interested in this, the racial perspectives, etc. Because these videos are a bit clickbait. Is this the truth? And there are some albino people in the thumbnail dressed as Romans. Let's be honest. Maybe that's why I don't have so many followers. But the question is, is that history? No, right? It's just a joke, right? Certain things that the Metatron did are good. I stick to what I commented and I explained why this is the case. But let's be honest, the matter of the origins of Rome, of the Italic peoples, is actually a very serious thing, and it shouldn't be dismissed like, okay, there were guys who believed like that every single Roman was a Nordic and then there was an ethnic replacement. That's not actually what even racists fully and literally said to that extent, right? By trying to maximize the point just to say, well, it's BS. Well, we already knew that. Right, I think every person with a minimal, say, a school education should know that, yes, it's not true. Even if they were racists themselves or white supremacists or thought that the Romans were really with a whiter elite that believed in its own racial superiority, which may have even been the case for what it meant at the time. And what actually informed their own spiritual beliefs, and that is even, as I brought to the example of extended to their actual heroes, to their actual deities. This we didn't see, but I will again make a video on this. Even on the Latins as a whole, for example, their own soldiers, during even as far as the Second Punic War, with actual racial descriptions that go against darkness as opposed to, and the Metatron's video makes everything appear as a bit, the Romans had a clownesque idea of the Gauls and the Germans. They were so weird because they didn't have come on. Especially I will not digest the part on Flavus is for the Gauls and sub Flavus is for the Romans, right? I just demonstrated with actual passages several passages that literally the Romans applied it to Romans themselves. And even if that was just because the Metatron was talking about the beard of emperors and not of actually, those same heroes in Roman ideas, it's just the same for that, right? It's just one guy saying that, I don't know, that emperor was blonde, or black-haired. And so, what's the relevance of it? Yes, that there are people that think that everybody was white. Up to a certain point, it's impossible for that to have happened, right? I've never seen literally a person who thinks that in any time in history there were only blonde people ruling, even in Scandinavia, right? And I don't know what these people have in mind when they think that. Finally, the consideration, there is no such thing like a Mediterranean type. It's a purely geographical expression. There is nothing more false than the sort of cultural proximity, say, in an ethnogenetic or cultural sense than Mediterranean people, right? Northern Europeans are much more similar to one another than Mediterraneans are, and claiming again that there is something extravagant about being, or unnatural, as Metatron literally said, about being blonde for somebody from the Italian peninsula, at the time as today, given especially that he is Italian, it's something almost shocking to my ears, and I think that, the channel could do a bit better, at least if he claims that we're presenting with the truth, finding the truth, which evidently lays very far ahead instead. In any case, for today I stop it here. I just hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please share it, otherwise leave a like or subscribe to my channel if you're interested in my upcoming content. As always, I thank you heartily for listening to me. I wish you a nice time and see you next time.